Hello everyone, just making this quick update. As many of you know, I have cirrhosis of the liver, diagnosed about 14 or 15 months ago. Been through lots of different procedures and hospitalizations and things like that, but those are my past videos, and anyway, here we go. So I had mentioned that I had some new doctors that I started seeing, that I was in the process of going to. Actually, I've been pretty lucky with these doctors. They've been very helpful, which just goes to show you, if you're going through a situation like this, or any kind of disease or body ailment, and you're not getting the treatment you feel you deserve, there's nothing wrong with looking for other doctors or trying to find people. And it's not just necessarily that one doctor may be better than another. It can also be a situation where you get along better with one that they speak to you in a way you understand better, that they maybe the way they explain things you can comprehend better, or maybe they're comprehending how you're saying things a little bit better too as well. Because I'm sure there's many good doctors that we go to and we wind up not liking them or feeling like we're not getting the treatment when it's just a matter of communication, or not getting along as well, and getting the treatment that you feel you need. So anyway, many of you know that I started with a new GI. One of the other things I've been dealing with is food's been getting stuck. I haven't been able to, it's very difficult to eat or to take medicine, especially if you are familiar with the medicine Xifaxan, which is pretty large size pill that I take twice a day. That would get stuck, and that's very painful when that one gets stuck. But anyway, so I went in and I mentioned some of this before, and I spoke to him, and he tested me for genetic testing and set up some other tests for the swallowing issue and things like that. So I went in and they did a test, and I apologize, I forget the name of it, but it may wind up Menetry, something like that. Anyway, basically what they did was they had this long tube that was probably about that wide around, and it was filled with sensors, and they run it in through your nose and back through your mouth and in and down your esophagus and down to the base of your stomach, and they make you lay on your side and swallow a bunch of saline water and sit up and do it, and they watch how the fluids or food would go down. So anyway, I did get a phone call back after that procedure. There's a name for that too, and I don't have it at the moment, so apologize. I will look that up and make sure I put that in one of these videos once I finish my testing. Anyway, so basically the lower muscle is not relaxing, so it's squeezing on the food and just holding it there. So I'm not really sure what the procedure is. Normally I guess they would do surgery, but because of the liver failure, there's no chance of surgery, because you have too much of a risk of bleeding out or infection or things like that. So they won't do surgery as far as that goes. So it may be something that I just have to live with. And I've been living with it now as it is. So, I mean, just take what you got and roll with it, I guess, right? So I got to go in for another test called a barium swallow. That's pretty much where they have you swallow like this fluid that shows up under an x-ray. I guess it's pretty nasty tasting stuff. But anyway, they watch the fluid go down through the x-ray, and then I'll meet with him and I'll know more about that situation. Anyway, and then I met with the new hepatologist, the new liver doctor. She was amazing. She sat and talked to me and listened to my concerns, and And she went over some things I already knew, but it was a good refresher to hear them again. And she ordered a bunch of testing that they hadn't ordered before, as far as genetic testings and some other things like that. And like I said previously, I tested positive for a variation in one of my genes, a mutation that can cause iron overload, and that iron can back up in places like your liver, especially your brain, your heart, and some other ones as far as that goes. So I haven't quite gotten all the answers for that completely, so but it looks like I do have that, but at least it's an answer, kind of know where this came from, because I did drink for a few years, and and then when you go in and you say that you were drinking, automatically they go to alcohol-induced cirrhosis, which is fine. I did drink. There was a couple years I did drink. So if this doctor said that I've had cirrhosis for actually probably quite a while, and the difference is that it was compensated, which means pretty much that it's still functioning, and then it became decompensated, which is the liver failure, which is what I have now. So I'm in the process of that, and waiting to hear back on those test results. And then I've got to go back in a couple months for another abdomen ultrasound, because they do check me for liver cancer every 6 months. That is a common thing that you go through when you do have cirrhosis. They will check you about every 6 months for liver failure. Or not liver failure, I'm sorry, liver cancer, which is, it's an ultrasound where they just go in and they look at the liver and the shape of it and so on and so forth. It's a non-invasive procedure, easy procedure, as far as that goes. So, but anyway, I'm just waiting for some answers. Once I get them, I will let everyone know. For the most part, I'm doing pretty good, the best I can be doing for what I have going on. For those people who do have this disease, keep fighting, stay positive as you can, even though sometimes things don't seem positive. Try to find something that makes you happy or positive. I try to stay active every single day. I do find that if I go an entire day of not doing anything, kind of laying around, the next day I feel terrible. So I truly do believe that, at least for me, and I believe this would go for most people, if you're able to do something every day, even if it's something as small as taking a walk in a park, or taking a drive somewhere, or going to look at window shopping maybe at a store, maybe not necessarily buying anything, but going around looking at things that you may want, when you get better. All that stuff's good. If you fish, go fishing. If you golf, do the best you can. If you can knock a ball around a little bit, then do it. Whatever you're able to do within your restrictions of your body, go do. Try to have fun, try to enjoy what you got, because we only got one life, and when it's over, it's over. And especially when you've been given a diagnosis like cirrhosis, you kind of live 90 days at a time. That's what they base the MELD score on, is your life expectancy over the next 90 days. So I don't look at it as if tomorrow I may turn for the worse and be sick, or I only got 3 months, or maybe I'll live a year. I look at it where, okay, if when I make it through this, what are the things that I may want to do, or what are the things that, I have planned, what would I like to do, If I go back to work, what would I want to do for work, would I want to do something different than what I did before in the past? Change in lifestyle, things like that. But yeah, I mean, staying positive and staying active are two of the biggest things you can do when you have, I would say, any terminal type diagnosis. And I can't speak for other ones because I'm not familiar with, how those are, what it's like to go through those. But at least for me, when I'm able, I'm going to continue moving and doing things. And just a quick note on diet. One of the things is when you have liver failure, your body doesn't produce the proteins that you need to keep the muscles going and stuff. So a lot of people lose their muscle masses. That's why I have hernias, is because one of the first things that ate away at was my muscles, and wound up breaking in the abdomen wall, and then the intestines start pushing their way through and stuff like that. So I do wear a special binder every day. And it is painful, and there's not a whole lot I can do with it. But I don't let it stop me or slow me down. I put the binders on, and I go out and still do stuff. And if I need to take a break, I take a break. But anyway, back to the food. So I try to do like 6, maybe 7 small, higher protein meals a day. I try to avoid eating out at anything like fast food, McDonald's, things like that. I kind of stay away from that, because if I make it, at least I know what goes into it. So plus eating out is expensive nowadays too. I mean, you're looking at $12 for a meal, where you can get some natural food for less than that and cook it up on the stove and quickly. But I do look for things that are fast, that I can make fast or quick, like ground hamburger, dinner pork chops, things like that, so I don't have to spend a lot of time in front of the oven cooking, to where I'm able to make the meal quickly. Some of those rice mixes, things like that, mashed potatoes, some frozen vegetables, with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper on there. Not a lot of salt. You don't want to do a lot of salt when you have the liver failure, because that can cause more buildup of fluid. So, but I try to stay away from things that a lot of people say, take this natural remedy or that natural remedy, and those things may be good before your liver becomes bad, but once you become cirrhotic and that liver stops processing things properly, some of those things can actually be worse for you, because they're not getting processed through the liver properly. You're kind of making the liver work overtime, or they kind of get stuck in there and they're not filtered or processed through. Coffee is actually good for you, black coffee. Some green teas and things like that may not be that great for you once you've had cirrhosis of the liver, so you might want to do some research. Don't take just my word for it. Do as much research as you can on your own. You don't ever want to take what one person says and say, okay, oh well, that's what I'm going to do. If they point you in a good direction, take that information and do your own research as well. Google it, look it up. So don't just take one source. So I take the information that I found from many sources, my doctors, my online, the Liver Institute, different things like that, like articles from Mayo Clinic, different things like that you can find online just by Googling healthy diet for cirrhosis, or living with cirrhosis, or how should I eat when I have cirrhosis, things like that. And those different things will help you be able to get information for you. But anyway, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. I do get back to them the best I can. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Once I have those other tests done, I will let everyone know. I'm thinking of making a video about some of those signs symptoms that you may that can happen before being diagnosed with cirrhosis, or some of the things that you may expect when you have cirrhosis, like complications and things like that. So let me know if that's something that you'd want to see, and I will make that video. All right, everyone, have a wonderful and amazing, blessed day. Take care, and until next time.